Hey guys, this is Elias with Softfly, and in this video I'm going to show you how to import WooCommerce variable products using an XML file and WP All Import. Now, the first step is go here to All Import, then New Import, and choose how to upload our file. Now we have several options. We can choose to upload a file directly from our computer. We can choose to use an existing one from a previous import, or you can choose to download a file directly from an external source. Now we have two options here. We can choose from FTP, or we can choose to do it via URL, which is what I'm going to choose in this example. Now I have my URL here, so I'm going to paste that and click on the download button. All right, so with this, WP All Import has downloaded our file and it's ready to be used. Now we need to decide whether we want to create new items or update existing ones. Now this doesn't actually mean that we can't create new items using the existing items import. It just means how WP All Import targets our products. Now let's say you have other products here in this site, which is not my case in this example. I don't have any products here, but if I did, I could update those products using the existing items import, right? But I cannot do it with the new items import because the new items import will only be able to update products that same import created. So if I create some products with this new items import, I can update those products using the same import. But if I wanted to update other products that this import didn't create, I will need to use the existing items import. That's the only difference. So in case this is not clear and maybe you need to know a little bit more about that, you can go to our website and click on the docs menu and you will find more info on the import types there. Now, for this example, let's just continue with our import. And the next step we need to take is to choose what post type we want to import. In this case, we're going to select WooCommerce Products. So we're going to create new WooCommerce Products for each record in our data file. Now, since all of this is looking good, I'm just going to click on the Continue to Step 2 button. And this Step 2 is basically a review of the import file. We can do other fun stuff here too, but we're going to get there in a minute. First, we just need to double check that the import file is detecting all of the products we have in our import file. And this number seems correct. We have 2006 products, and these are the elements or the fields we want to import from my import file, right? So this is looking good. And since that's the case, we can choose to go here to step 3. Or I don't know, maybe say you don't want to import all 2006 products, right? Maybe you only want to import some of them. So you can do that in WP All Import using the Manage Filtering options. Now, these Manage Filtering options will use XPath to filter out the products we don't want based on the rules we set up here. So say I only want to import maybe those products that are hoodies, right? So I can choose here from the product categories element, and then I'm going to say contains hoodies. Right, I'm going to add this rule and apply the filter. Now you notice that WP All Import created an XPath expression here, and we no longer have 2006 products. Now we have 358 products, and these 358 products are those products that have the word hoodie contained in the product categories element. Now we can add as many rules as we want by selecting here other elements, then applying the rule, and using this button right here, you can narrow down your records until you have all of the data you want to actually import, right? Now, keep in mind, guys, that you don't actually need to use XPath in this format. You don't even need to know what XPath is or how it works or anything like that. WP All Import will take care of all of that for you. But in the case that you actually know what XPath is and know how to write XPath expressions and whatnot, then you know you can do all sorts of crazy stuff here, and even in the import template, which is what we're gonna go here in step 3. Now, I do want to import all of the products, so I could delete this XPath expression, or I could just click here on this little trash icon to remove the rule I previously set up. So I'm going to do that, and you can see that WPL import removed the XPath expression it previously created, right? And up here, we go back to 2006 products, which is again what we want to import. So on the continue to step 3 button, right, and here we have our import template. You can think of this like maybe a product, WooCommerce products, right? We have a title, description, short description, and here we have the product data. And well, that's exactly what we have in WooCommerce when we're creating a product manually. We have our title, the description, the short description, the product data, and here we can select variable products and whatnot. And that's the same we can do here, right? So we just need to do as if we were creating a product manually in WooCommerce, but instead of typing in some stuff, we just need to drag and drop whatever element we want from this right panel, like so, into the fields we want those elements to go. For example, I want this product name element to be the title, so I drag and drop that element into the title box. Now, for the description, I want to use the content element, so I drag and drop that here, and as you can see, this content element has some HTML in there, and WPL import is able to decode that with no problem. Let me show you real quick. If I click here on the preview button, right, you can see it's working nicely, right? Now you can also add here a static data. For example, say I want to place here 10%, 10% off, right? And I want to make this maybe in red. Yeah, that's good. Maybe bold, and I'm gonna also make this a title, right? So if I hit preview, there we go. There it is. And here's the HTML and CSS in case you want to actually modify that here, you can do that too. We're not limited to use a specific element, or maybe you can actually add multiple elements from your import file in the same field. For example, I could type in here SKU, right? And drag and drop the SKU, which is right here. You can do that. Let's maybe make this SKU bold. And yeah, maybe let's add a horizontal line here so it looks nicer. Preview. There we go. There you have it, guys. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff here. So that's up to you. I'm going to leave it like that just to show you guys that it's possible. And I'm going to continue with the short description. Now I'm going to drag and drop that here. Cool. And jump into the WooCommerce Add-On tab because all of this is looking good. Now, this WooCommerce Add-On will have pretty much the same tabs as if you were creating the product manually, as I showed you before here in WooCommerce, right? So let's just select here from this product type pull down. I want to select variable products because, well, that's what we're importing, right? So let's drag and drop the SKU like so. Then we have the regular price element and the sell price element. Now, these regular and sell prices element are empty in this product because this is a parent product. Now, if you know how WooCommerce works, you know that the parent ID for the parent products in WooCommerce variable products is a 0. Now, if I click here on this arrow to see the next record, you will notice that this one does have a parent ID. And this is the same number as the ID or previous record has. Now, this is how my file is structured, but yours may be different. So yeah, just keep that in mind, guys. Just drag and drop stuff and you should be good. But if your file structure is a little bit weird or you don't fully understand how all of this works, we have great documentation in our site. Just go to our website, wplimport.com, click on the docs menu, right? And from here, you can select whatever you need to import. For example, if you're importing WooCommerce variable products, you can click on the import, then WooCommerce, and here we have some docs on importing variable products, right? You can find a lot more info on a lot of things here and just go nuts, right? You can learn a lot of stuff here. You can also browse through our YouTube channel. We have other videos on this. And if even after that you are feeling a little bit lost, just don't worry about it and contact our support team. We'll be more than happy to help you out, guys. Now, I was telling you about the regular and sell prices. So again, if I hit preview here to see the prices, you can see that we have the same numbers as in my import file. But say you want to maybe increase these prices because you want to be a little bit greedy and make more money off these products, right? Well, you can do that either with a PHP function, which you can use here. It's at the bottom, the function editor. You can write here your own functions, right? But if you want to mark up your prices, you can do it within the WPL import UI. So just click here on the adjust prices link, and these two fields will show up. Now you can see it has the same names, regular price, and sell price, sell price. And the way this works is that you can increase or decrease the prices based on percentage or based on an amount. So if you choose by percentage, you can hover on the question mark and it will show you how to do it. Same if you do it by an amount. I'm going to do it by percentage, and I'm going to increase these prices by 10%. Now, again, hover on the question mark and it will give you some instructions, but it basically says that the 100% is this number right here, which in this case is 63. So that's the 100%. If you want to increase that by 10%, you need to place here 110. Now, if you wanted to decrease these prices by 10% instead, then you will need to place here 90, right? So that's basically the logic behind this. You can preview the prices just to make sure they are working correctly, and in this case it is. So this is lower, it's good. So I'm gonna type in here 110, and I'm gonna do the same here to increase my prices by 10%, preview prices, and there we go, they are 10% higher. So I'm gonna leave it like that, that's good. Now these settings, I'm gonna leave them as they are, but you can choose whatever value works for you here. You can even set this stuff with XPath. You can change the tax status, the tax class, and whatnot. And well, again, guys, if you do know what XPath is, then you know what you can do. But if not, then, well, basically, when you choose to set the field with XPath, just basically means that you can drag and drop an element and use it here. And this will import the data dynamically for each record, right? That's basically it. So yeah, that's just in case you have some data here. But just keep in mind, guys, that if you're using XPath to import some of these fields, well, it's always a good idea to hover on the question mark because it may give you some instructions or accepted values. For example, for the tax status element, we have some fixed values that you need to use, otherwise it won't work. Now, a good example of this is the stock element, which I need to use as XPath. I'm going to show you here in the inventory tab, right? I'm going to enable the manage stock option. I'm going to drag and drop this stock here. I'm going to use maybe 2 for the low stock threshold. And for the stock status, I need to use this element that says stock status. So if I select set with XPath and hover on the question mark, well, WPL import will tell me what the accepted values are. So here for the stock status element, we have yes and we have no, right? I believe this one is, is yes too, but some of them are no. So if I hover on this question mark, the accepted values are in stock, out of stock, and on back order. So if I wanted to use this stock status element right here, it won't work because the accepted values are different from the ones that we're importing. So what do we do here, right? We have several options, but probably the easiest one is to use a quick PHP function to change the yes into in stock and the no's into out of stock, right? So I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to use the function editor. Now you can write here any kind of function you want to do pretty much whatever you feel like with your data, and WPL import will just process it, right? You can find more info on how to run PHP functions here in the import section, right? Then go to custom code, inline PHP, and you will find a lot more info on how to run PHP functions. Now in this example, I have one ready, so I'm gonna paste it here. And then I'm gonna save the function, right? Very important. And then I'm going to copy the name of this function, right? And then I'm going to go here to the field I want to run this function on. I'm going to open my brackets, paste the name of my function, open a parenthesis, right? And then close the parenthesis with the stock status element, which is what we're going to use to run our function on, and then close the brackets. Now, if you maybe want to test if this function is good, just copy that, go here to the content area, right? Paste your function there and hit preview. And there we go. We have yes, and here we have in stock. It's good. So our function is running. That means that WPL import will be able to import this dynamically. So this is the kinds of things that you can do with XPath. It's pretty fun, guys. There is really no limit to what you can do here. So let's just continue with our import. We have already our function that will turn the yes into in stocks and the no's into out of stock. So this is pretty basic, you know, but you can do maybe other more complex functions right here. So here we have the shipping and link products tabs, and I'm just gonna skip these tabs because we don't have any of that information in our import file. So yeah, just skip it altogether, and the WPL import will just use the default values, or maybe leave them blank in this case. That doesn't matter that much in this example. So next we have the attributes tab, and here we have size, color, and brand. So I'm gonna add 2 new rows here, right? And I'm gonna type in here size, then color, and brand, right? And then I'm gonna drag and drop the values from these attributes into the values column, right? Right. Cool. Now, for the brand element, we have a slight issue. Now, in this example, all of the products have the same value, and that value is brand underscore softlight. Now, I don't want the brand to be this, right? Maybe I want to change the brand to something more readable and maybe get rid of the brand underscore. It's good. So I can use another quick PHP function. And with WPL import, you have several ones are already built in. Some of them are very simple, like this one, and some others are very advanced, like if you need to use math to maybe multiply some values, or maybe if-else statements, yeah, you can do that too. For now, let's use this str replace one, and this function will basically look for a value, right? And then use another value to replace that first one in some element. Now let's do that with this product brand element. So I'm gonna open my bracket here, and then I'm gonna type in str replace, right? I'm gonna open my parentheses, and I'm gonna use some quote marks to look for the value I want to replace, which is brand underscore, and I will also change the first S and in softlight. I'm gonna make it uppercase, so this softlight brand is capitalized, right? So this is what we're gonna look for. Then we're gonna replace this with just an S. Oh, this should be underscore actually, right? Right. Then I'm gonna use a comma. I'm gonna then place the element I want to run this function on. Then I'm gonna close my parentheses and my brackets. Now let's copy this function, right, and paste it here just to make sure it works, right? Hit preview, and there we go. We changed brand underscore softlight for softlight, right? So that was simple. But again, if you want to know more about how this works, just go to our blogs and go nuts here. Now, I don't want this brand element to be within the variation options because, as I said before, we only have one brand. All of this clothing, all of these products are going to be from softlight, which is the brand. So I don't see the point in having variations for that, right? So I'm going to disable this in variation option. And with this, WPL import will create variations for size, for color, but not for brand. However, I do want those elements to be visible, and I do want them to be taxonomies. So we'll leave all of the other settings as they are. Here we have the option to actually combine all of the attributes and create variations from them. Now, I don't want to do that because in my import file, I have all of the variations I want to create. I just need to tell WPL import how are they related within my import file. And we do that here in the variations tab, right? So here we just need to read very carefully all of these options, right? And choose the one that resembles the most to the file structure we're using. Now, all of these titles will describe a scenario, and that scenario is a file structure. Let's take a look at this third one. This one says all variations for a particular product have the same title as the parent product, right? So then we have here maybe an example image, right? And in this example image, we can see this is the parent product, right? And these three are the variations. Same with these lampshops here. So if your file structure looks like this, right, where all of the products have the same title and you have a parent product, well, you can use this option and drag and drop the title element here, right? Now, it's important, guys, that you read these options carefully because we have here, for example, a very similar one that says all variations for a particular product have the same title. Cool, right? But there are no parent products. You can see that here too in the example image. All of these are variants. We don't have any parent products. So I know this is a spreadsheet-like view, maybe layout. So it's different from an XML. But you can use the same logic with XML. For example, the option that resembles the most to the file structure we're using is this first one. The reason for that is because it says all my variable products have an SKU or some other unique identifier, which is true, we have our ID, right? Each variation is linked with its parent SKU or unique identifier. And that's true too, because here we have a variation, and this variation says parent ID, and this parent ID is the ID of this little guy here, right? So this is the scenario we have here, and we can drag and drop the ID here, and the parent ID here, right? And it will be the same logic this example image is using because we have here an SKU and a parent SKU, right? So again, guys, it's very important to read these titles carefully because they can be tricky. But if you're feeling a little bit lost here, don't worry and contact our support team, right? So let's continue. We have here these variations enabled option. I'm going to leave it like that. And I will also leave these options as they are because, well, I don't want to select a default variation for my products. I just want the default value. And here I do want to create products with no variations as simple products. Now, in this import file, we have some hoodies, we have some jackets, some pants, and other sportswear products, which do have variations in size and color. But we also have other products like maybe smartwatches, maybe sport bags, or I don't know. So those are simple products. Those doesn't have any variants. So we're gonna leave that option enabled, right? Now, guys, it seems like we're through with our import file in the WooCommerce Add-on section. So, right, we even use a custom function right here, and we also use an inline function which is built in WPL import right here for the brand attribute. Now, this all is looking real nice. So since we're done here, I'm gonna jump into the next section, which is the images one. Now, here for the images, we just need to use the option that works for us based on where we have our images hosted, right? So if I have my images hosted in an external server or, I don't know, someplace else, well, you can use this option to download them via URL. Now, these URLs need to point to the actual file, and that URL needs to be accessible via PHP, right? Now, you can also choose to upload your files into your media library and use the file names of those images to match and attach the images to your products. Now, you can also use this third option where you can upload the files via FTP into this path and do the same with the file names. Now, in this example, you can see here that we have our images in URLs, and those URLs are in an external server. right? So if I copy this URL and paste it here in my browser, there we go. The image is accessible, so it should work with WPL import. Now we have here several URLs, and they are separated with pipes. So if I choose download images hosted elsewhere, and then drag and drop this image URL element, it will probably work, but it's always a good idea to hit the preview and test button, right? Because here, as you can see, WPL import thinks this is a single URL, and we don't have any preview here, right? So the issue with this is that we didn't set up here the correct delimiter. Now, as I showed you before, we're using a pipe. So here is a comma, and that's what WPL import is looking for to separate the different URLs. Now, if I change this to a pipe, which is the correct one we're using here, we can preview and test again, and there we go. Here are our images, and here is a little preview. Now, just to double check that all of this is gonna work, I'm gonna click on the Run Test button, and WPL import will attempt to download these images. Now, in this case, the test was successful. All 3 images were successfully downloaded in 1 second. So that means that WPL import is able to access and download these images, so the import will work regarding the images. Now I'm going to click on the Dismiss button, and here we have some image options. Now guys, you're probably gonna just go with the default values, which is actually what I'm gonna do, but it's always a good idea to just read this and understand what it does, right? So the most important ones for us are this first one and the fourth one. So this first one is just basically gonna double check each one of the image to be downloaded to make sure that image doesn't already exist in our media library. So if that image exists, for example, let's say you're downloading this first image, right? And the next record, which is a variable, will use the same image. Well, WPL import won't download a second image, but instead will use the one that exists in our site already. And this is great because in this example, we have some variations based on size and color, but the image is the same. For example, this black hoodie, it's the same in size L, and then in size S, M, and whatever. And we will end up with thousands of duplicate images, and I don't want to clutter my database like that. That will just make my website slower, and I don't want that. So I'm going to keep this option enabled so WPL import can use the images that exist already in my site, right? We can choose to match those images by URL or by file name. That doesn't really matter. That's up to you. But yeah, you can leave this enabled. And then I want to set the first image to be the featured image, which means this one right here in this example. And for this one, and well, you get the idea, right? So all of this is looking good. So I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna skip the custom fields section because we don't have any in this example. And then we have the taxonomies. Now I'm gonna enable the product categories, and then I'm gonna choose this third option that says each product have the hierarchical parent-child product categories, and then an element in my file contains entire hierarchy, which is the case here. So I'm gonna drag and drop that here, right? And I'm gonna show you guys, this is the parent category. Then we have the first child, then we have the second child, and then we have a third child. And this is maybe a standard way of representing hierarchy. So yeah, I just drag and drop that here, and then I'm gonna hit preview, and there we go. We have here the parent, which is the first level, the top level hierarchy. And then we have here the different hierarchy levels, and they are represented with these dashes, right? So this is looking good. I'm gonna dismiss this and continue with my import. Here we have the other product options, and this is just some standard WordPress stuff like post status, post dates, comments, log, post author, whatnot. So I'm just gonna leave all of this as it is by default. It's good. I do want all of the products that to be visible, to be published. I don't care what the post dates are. So now works for me. Comments, good. Trackbacks, good. Post looks. This is gonna be the default sanitized version of the title, which is what WordPress usually does. Just sanitize the title and make a slug out of it. then the post author, it's going to be the person that's running the import by default, but you can change that using whatever value you want, right? Now, again, all of this, I'm going to leave it as it is. Then we have the function editor, which we already met. And this is pretty cool. This is very easily the most powerful feature in WP Import, guys. So yeah, if you want to know more about this, just take a look here in our docs. We even have a developer section where we have our API, and we have some code snippets where you have different case scenarios, and you can browse through here and maybe learn a thing or two about PHP. It's pretty cool. Now, all of this is ready, so I'm just gonna go ahead and continue to step 4. Now here on step 4, we need to choose a unique identifier. And this is very important because let's say we choose the title to be our unique identifier, right? Now, this product have the same title as their variations. So what will happen here is that WP Import will think that all of these products are the same. For example, these 2, 3, these 4 products are the same. So WP Import will create the first one because it doesn't exist already, right? But when it comes to the second one, WP Import will say, oh, so this Bruno Compete hoodie already exists, so I'm not going to create a new product, but I'm going to update the one I already created, which is the first one. So the first one will no longer have this data, right? The first one will now will have this second data, and when we get here to the third record, since it has the same data, well, it will overwrite the data it already overwrote in this second one, and so on and so forth. And we don't want that, right? Because all of these products are different. So we want WP Import to know that they are different, and this should create a new record for each one of them. So how do we do that? We can read this text here, and you will know how to choose a unique identifier. For example, we can choose this ID one. The IDs are always a good unique identifier because they are usually unique. Or, more easily, we could just click on the auto detect button, and WP Import will just choose the right one for us based on our values, right? Now, in this example, just for the kicks of it, I'm gonna choose the ID, right? I'm gonna drag and drop that here, and I'm gonna run it with the ID. But again, if you don't want to maybe think too much about this, just click on the auto detect button and let WP Import do its thing, right? So here we have some other options, and these are all mostly for when you need to rerun this import, right? Say you ran this import and you created all 2006 records, which won't be 2006 products. We're gonna get 189 products because most of this data is just variants, so they will get combined into a single variable product, right? So if you deleted some of those products, maybe you deleted 10 products because whatever reasons, right? Maybe your provider, maybe it was a bad product or whatever, right? And you need to rerun this import because your provider maybe updated the stock levels. Well, you don't want to create those products that you already deleted, right? Well, you can choose to disable this option right here, and WP Import won't create products the next time it runs this import. Right? That's cool. Now, let's say you actually deleted those products, but it was an accident, or I don't know, maybe, yeah, it was an accident. So you want to create those products again, but you have changed some of the data in the existing products. So you don't want to update the data in those products, right? You only want to create the products that you deleted by mistake. Well, just disable this option, and WP Import won't update anything, just creates new products. Yeah, it's very simple, guys. You can even choose which data to update. For example, say you only want to maybe you only want to update the stock levels. Well, just disable all of this, go here to custom fields, right? And from here, you can select this stock. You can select this stock levels, right? So you can only update this field and leave all of the other fields alone. You can do that too. So that's cool. Now, again, in this example, I'm going to select all because we're creating products from scratch. but that's something you can do here in WPL import. Now, finally, we have the option to remove or modify products that are no longer present in this import file, which is pretty neat because say you have your file with your URL, right? Like we did in this example, and this is coming from your provider, and they just take out some products from circulation, or maybe the stock changes and now they are out of stock, right? So you can combine that with the scheduling option right here, which we're gonna get there in a minute, to run this import maybe weekly or maybe on a daily basis, right? And you enable this option and you say, well, all of those products that are missing from my import file, just set them to out of stock, right? Don't delete them, don't send them to trash, just set them to out of stock. Or maybe you can change the status to draft, or you can send them to the trash, or you can just choose to straight up delete the products, right? Because maybe you don't want products that aren't in stock in your site, right? That's up to you. You can even choose to delete the files and images attached to them, right? So we don't want to do that in this example, but you can choose to do it. And if this is something that interests you, you can click here on this YouTube icon and you will be taken to a video where we talk a little bit more in depth about this feature, right? Now here we have the scheduling options, like I mentioned before, and this is a very requested feature in WPL import because, yeah, maybe you need to keep your stock levels updated or whatever, and this will allow you to run this import automatically on a schedule. So say you want to run this import every single day here using the automatic scheduling service, right? So you enable all of the days and say, I don't know, 12 a.m. So WPL import will run this import every single day, right, at 12 a.m. Now, this is a paid service which costs $9 a month. You can choose to subscribe to this service using this button right here, or you can use cron jobs, which are free, just a little bit more technical, and you might need some help from your web host provider, but it's pretty simple once you get to know it. Right, you have your trigger URL and your processing URL, right? And with this, you will be able to set up a schedule to run your import on, right? Now, if you have some questions about it, you can click here on this link, and it will take you to our docs on how to run cron jobs using WPL import, right? Now, we're not gonna do this in this example, so I'm gonna choose Do Not Schedule, and I'm gonna close this. Then I'm gonna click on the Continue button, and then I'm gonna run my import. Now this is gonna take a minute or two while WPL import downloads all of the images, so I'm gonna let this go and come back when it's ready. Alright guys, so our import is complete. Let's see how our products came in. Alright, so we have 189 products, which is the number we expected. And all of the products seem to be here. We do see they have the prices, the categories, they are in stock, some of them, yeah. So let's see how this looks in the front end of the site, where we have this beautiful website, and all of this seems to be looking really good. Yeah, we have here a bunch of products. So let's open this one up and see what's going on here. All right, so we have our SKU, the categories, we have our images. Here is the title, the prices, the short description. Then we have our variations with some attributes, and as you can see, the image changes when I select a different colors, so that's good. Then we have here our 10% off red title, so it's good. Then we have our description, the horizontal line, and the SKU we placed. Then we have here the different attributes, and we have size, color, and brand, which is not used for variations, so that's great. Let's see how this looks in the edit product page, where we have our title, description, images, the category 3, which is looking good too. Then we have the SKU, stock quantity, low stock threshold, then our attributes like we saw on the front end. That's great. Then our variations, and as you can see, all of these variations have their own image, their own SKU, their own price. Yeah, there you have it, guys. That's how you import WooCommerce variable products. Now, say you want to rerun this import, right? Because, I don't know, maybe you just want to update the stock levels, or wherever, well, you can go here to all import, manage imports, right? And just click here on the run import again. Now, if you have go to our website and read about these scheduling options and you say, well, I want to schedule this import, but I already have run it, well, here you will find these scheduling options in the manage import page, right? Just click here and you will get the same settings we saw in step 4. So we have here our automatic scheduling service, right? And here we have the options for cron jobs, right? Just take a look here, guys. And again, if you need to rerun this import, just set that up here to do it on a schedule, or click here on the run import button to do it manually. Now that's it, guys. That's all it takes to import WooCommerce variable products using an XML file and WPL import. Now, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to learn more about how to import or export other WooCommerce data like orders, products, and whatnot, or maybe you are importing maybe ACF fields, Jet Engine fields, Metabox fields, well, you can do all of that with WPL import and WPL export. Just check out the other videos in our channel or go to our website at wplimport.com. See you next time.